Hey guys, it's me Mr. 250 and welcome back to Umineko. Let's continue from here where we left off, where we were talking about parts of a murder and why it couldn't have been the servants, or at least it seems highly unlikely it would be the servants. Each one of the survivors had some kind of connection to the one of the 6 who had been killed. Cross Oji-san's death brought Jessica the grief of losing one of her family. The deaths of Dad and Kirie-san brought me sorrow, while Aunt Rose's death brought Maria sorrow. Goda-san's death probably influenced his fellow servants, and Shannon-chan's death brought grief to George Aniki, who had proposed to her, and Kanan-kun, who had loved her like an older sister. Everyone now on this island had received an equal amount of sadness. Aunt Eva had claimed that the servants were definitely in cahoots. But then, how could you explain the deaths of Goda-san and Shannon-chan exactly? And by this argument, the grief caused by the 6 deaths hit everyone but Aunt Eva and Hideyoshi Oji-san. That's true. Now, I'm kind of thinking, another idea. Maybe one person killed somebody else and they all just got into a big killing spree. It's an idea, not likely, but it's an idea. It was very possible to doubt Aunt Eva herself, who was acting like she was outside of the net of suspicion, and who might have been trying to point that suspicion at the servants. In the first place, she'd managed to avoid suspicion and place it on the servants with that argument about the key to the shutter. But if you looked at it from the perspective of a motive, about who would gain something from the murders, Aunt Eva's name floated to the top of the list. Definitely suspicious. Did the game freeze? Oh, good.
What? 嫌だな。内緒にしててくださいよ。あんなことやこんなことで頭をいっぱいにしてたなんて。
私がこの殺人で一番得をする。
True that.
どうせ疑われるだろうから先に自己申告しておくわ。
I tried to trick her by joking around, but it looked like it hadn't worked.
遺産は兄弟の数で分割する。でも今や4兄弟は私一人。
That's true. That does make her seem really suspicious, doesn't it? Because we have Maria's mother. What's her name? Can't even remember. She's out of the picture. We have Cross and Natsui. Cross is out of the picture. Natsui technically isn't considered part of the family. We, of course, have Battler's parents out. So they're not part of the family at the moment, considered to be the siblings. So the only person that's left is Eva. And that would work incredibly well for her in that situation. That is actually really suspicious. Yeah, could you like not do that? Because that's making you really suspicious.
ごめんね。どう取り繕ったってどうせ疑われるだろうからふざけただけよ。だからこの殺人は私の立場から見れば私を疑わせるためのものではないかと思ってるの。
That's true as well. I mean, we know Natsui probably didn't do it, but she could have set that up to try to make it look like it, because Natsui was so worried about the whole thing. Though it is kind of odd that she would kill her own husband. A little bit of a hole in that one, but not impossible, yet again. Maybe she's kind of mad at him for how he's been treating her.
聞かせてもらってもいいですか？昨夜のことを。
バトラ君たちも知っている通り、兄弟が遺産をどう食いちぎり合うかという話し合いは深夜まで続いたわ。でも何時まで続いたかは知らない。私と主人は朝が早かったからね。もう眠くて24時を過ぎたあたりで抜けさせてもらったの。そしてゲストハウスに戻って休んだわ。
Now see, that's interesting. Because that means they didn't stay in the main house.
それを
According to her, testimony, of course, can't exactly believe her. But if that's true, she wasn't in the main house. Would that mean the only person that survived in the main house was Natsui? Because of that charm, I wonder? Unless anyone else was in the main house that survived and I don't know about it yet. I am pretty bad with remembering people and locations sometimes.
いやいや、別にエヴァおばさんを疑ってるわけじゃないっすよ。
あら、どうだか。
Oh, stop the giggling, it's
証
creepy.
明になるかわからないけれど、ゲストハウスに戻ってきた時、源氏さんに出迎えを受けてタオルはいるかと聞かれたわ。だから私たちがゲストハウスに戻ってきた時間は24時過ぎだと証明してくれると思うわよ。もっとも、私の仮説通り、使用人たちもグルなのだとしたら、こんなのアリバイにならないけど。
Yeah, not particularly. Though I don't quite believe you in that.
確かにそうっすね。ってことは、俺、今、真犯人と推理ごっこをしてるってことになるんすか？
Watch out, she'll stab you with that fan.
でも私の名誉のために言わせてもらうけど、遺産目当てだったならこんな変な殺人はしないわよ。だって遺産相続権を喪失させるだけならどんな死に方だって構わない。むしろ事故死に見せかけた方がスマートでしょ。
Yeah, that would be the best way to go about keeping yourself from being under suspicion.
使用人たちを抱き込んで周到に計画していたならなおさらそうするでしょうよ。
確かにそうっすね。鋭利で人を殺すならそれは常に殺人に見せるべきではない。
そういうことよ。だからおばさんは今からとてもブルーな気持ちなわけ。警察には黒幕扱いされて散々調べられるでしょうね。やだやだ。
Aunt Eva shrugged with a bitter smile. Just like it was easy to think of the servants as suspicious, it was also very easy to think of Aunt Eva as suspicious. So if we turn the chessboard over, did that mean it was impossible for the culprit to be easily doubtable Aunt Eva? However, if we use that method with impunity, then motive wouldn't count for anything. No, that can't be right. Knowing the motive should be a big clue towards knowing the culprit. That was why murderers from all time periods tried to skillfully put on airs to the contrary, and disguised the case in various ways. I don't know. Every time I turn the chessboard over, it keeps flipping from front to back and back to front. Were my thoughts closing in on the truth? Or were they what? We'll never know! I can't advance the text. Okay, never mind. Aunt Eva didn't want to talk any more than that, so I headed to the window, folding my arms so that I could cool my head a little. As I looked over the parlor, I saw George Aniki and the others gathered, talking. It looked like they were talking about the magic circle that had been painted onto the shutter. As Hideyoshi Oji-san thought back to that time, he started drawing the shape in the margins of Maria's notebook. I see. Since Maria was second only to grandfather in knowledge of the occult, she might understand what it meant.
多分こんな感じだったと思うで。十字架をアレンジしたみたいなマークが書かれとったんや。そしてこんな感じで外周の円を取り囲むように妙な文字がびっしり書き込まれていて、十字架の上下左右の辺とその四隅にも何か書かれていたんや。アルファベットとかそういうのとちゃうで。あれはよく言う古代文字とかいうやつや。
It's what they call them ancient characters.
あと円周部の頂点に小さなマークがありましたな。小さな丸を5つ十字状に並べ、それぞれを直線で結んだようなマークでした。
ああ、確かにそんなのも書いてあったで。図形的には間違いなくこれや。細かい文字はわからんが、配列はほぼ同じや。
Everyone was staring down at the shape, so I stared down at it too. from what I had heard, this had been painted on the shutter to the storehouse with some material that looked like blood. I see. This sure is unsettling.
こんなわけのわかんねえもんを書きたがるのはじいさまだけだろ。まったく、どこに行っちまったんだ。
Probably all his fault.
とっ捕まえて意味を聞き出してやりたいぜ。
Jessica's voice contained impatience and anger. She hadn't gone so far as to say that grandfather was the culprit, but it looked as though she thought that grandfather definitely knew the culprit's background. Of course, if you were searching for the link that bound the Ushiramiya family and the occult together, our grandfather's name would probably come up. And to a person that knew nothing of the occult, this strange mark would have no meaning. Which meant that this might have been something addressed to grandfather. That's right. And the reason the crime had been shown off to the survivors was so that they would find this. In that case, where had grandfather, as the essential recipient of this message, disappeared off to?
こんな図形に何か心当たりはあるかい?
Maria looked at the shape with a serious face. Maybe she was enthusiastic since this was her area of expertise. However, her appearance was that of someone separated from the events at hand, as though this thing hadn't been drawn on the shutter closed around her mother's corpse.
僕の第一印象ではどこか外国の十字章に似たデザインだなって思ったかな。
I'm not so sure about that, but
確かにこんなデザインや。
I guess it's somewhat similar.
ということはどこぞの国と
I highly
何か
doubt it.
関係があるんか？
その国の十字章はもともと聖地巡礼者を守るための騎士修道士たちの紋章だったそうですな。
つまりこの魔法陣には
Now that could, I think that's a bit closer to the mark, if we're looking for
ま
something.
すますにちんぷんかんぷんだぜ。
When I looked over at all of them, preparing to jump into the discussion, something shocked me. Oh gosh. Good, Maria's already starting off great. Maria was laughing, an eerie and incomprehensible expression on her face. Nice tooth. It was almost as if she was making fun of everyone's ignorance, and laughing at us. It was an expression that I couldn't have dreamed I would ever see on Maria's face. And she laughed. No, I'm done. Nope, I'm done. Get me out of here. Sorry, I had to go turn on some lights. It's too dark for that right now. Too dark. That eerie, jarring laugh. Even though I was looking at it right in front of my eyes, I really didn't want to accept it. Oh gosh.
全然違うよみんな。
Been taking too many laughing lessons from Battler. While everyone was scared out of their wits, Maria alone kept on cackling happily. After a while, that laugh was suddenly and abruptly cut off. But her expression was still like someone completely different from Maria.
これは太陽の7の魔法陣だよ。書かれてる文字はヘブライ語。貸して。
Maria stole the writing materials from the stunned Hideyoshi's hand. She then started drawing another magic circle with a rustle, right next to the one that Hideyoshi had drawn.
ね、こんな図形だったんじゃないかな。
そんな図形だった。
マリア、すごいな。さすが詳しいぜ。
Jessica tried to smooth things over by praising Maria. Maybe she wanted to make sure that this was still the Maria whom everyone knew so well. But Maria didn't answer her in any way in particular. With a rustle, Maria began writing characters that seemed familiar to her in the corner of the shape. When Hideyoshi Oji-san and Dr. Nanjer saw them, their eyes immediately began to open wide.
天地と左右に書かれているのは風化水道を司る天使たちの名。カサン、アレル、フォルラク、そしてタリアハド。 そして斜め四方には4代の王たちの名。アリエルス、合ってる？
Even if they hadn't been able to correctly write what they had seen, when they were once again shown something identical, it wasn't difficult for them to realize that the two were the same. When Maria asked them whether it matched, Hideyoshi Oji-san and Dr. Nanjo nodded over and over again.
間違いない。そうや。確かにこんな文字が書かれとった。なんでこんなん書けるんや。
あと演習文に文字が書かれておりましたな。
わかってるよ。こうでしょ。
With another rustle, Maria began to surround the circumference with more Hebrew writing.
旧約聖書の詩編第116編の16節と17節だよ。
I feel like being Maria's voice actor must have been a lot of fun.
聖書くらい読んでなきゃ。
Acting as though knowing this was only common sense, Maria laughed. For a while, everyone, including me, was at a loss for words. A little later, George Aniki returned to his senses and slowly managed to speak.
すごいね。驚いたよ。それで、この魔法陣にはどんな意味があるんだい？
太陽の力を借りる魔法陣だよ。黄金で描き、護符にして身につけたる者はいかなる牢獄であろうとも、束縛から逃れ、自由を得られる力を授けられる。
束縛から逃れ、自由を得られる。意味深だぜ。
この束縛という意味は何も肉体的なものだけを指さないと解釈されている。だから縛られて牢屋にいる人ばかりに意味があるわけじゃないよ。しがらみや逃れぬ運命など精神的な束縛からの解放も意味してるんだよ。
So, in this case, is it referring to the fact that they were locked up inside the storehouse?
しがらみや逃れ得ぬ運命。
Or you're saying the inescapable fate of their death, maybe?
これまた意味深だな。
しかしさっぱりわからん。それとあの6人の遺体とどんな関係があるっちゅうんや。束縛からの解放どころか殺された上に倉庫に閉じ込められてたんやで。
Unless you're saying that they were released from their earthly bodies or something.
別にその6人のために魔法陣が描かれてるわけじゃないね。魔法陣のために6人はそこにいるんでしょ。お気の毒だよ。
Or are they saying that they were the sacrifice for said magic circle?
どういう意味だい？
Maria, could you stop that? That's kind of
魔
creepy.
法陣のために6人がいるってのは一体。
Maria lifted up her pointer finger and waggled it as if she was making fun of us.
それは演習部に書いてるよ。読めないかな。詩編第116編16節と17節。読んであげるよ。主は私の枷を解かれました。私はあなたに感謝の生贄を捧げ、主の皆を呼ぶでしょう。ね。
ねって何を言ってるのかさっぱりだぜ。
生贄だってのか。
That's what it seems like. If the part that Maria had just read aloud was the vital part of the magic circle, then it was saying that the benefits of this magic circle required sacrifices to be offered in exchange. So inside the storehouse where the magic circle had been drawn, the sacrifices had been offered. It looked like everyone had slowly arrived at the same conclusion. Some people were shocked. Others spat something out furiously as they punched their knees. That is an odd reaction. This was starting to become a seriously disturbing story. And since we couldn't accept it, we couldn't understand it. I don't care what kind of magic circles or curses other people believe in. I won't pick a fight with them. But did they really kill Dad and the rest as sacrifices for crap like that? I just couldn't stand that feeling. After this, I'd rather still be disgusted over that theory about fighting over the inheritance. As I started getting annoyed with a feeling between anger and sadness, I broke from the circle everyone was in and returned once again to the window. something had gone insane since yesterday. That letter from the witch, Beatrice, that Maria had read aloud at last night's dinner. After that point, it felt like we had... No, like this whole mansion and the whole island had started to become shut up in some kind of mysterious world. That's right. When I think back on it, that letter was an invitation from the witch. The ruler of the nighttime island had invited us inhabitants of the day into another world. The phone and the radio had been interrupted. The island was shut off by the typhoon. You could now call it another world cut off from the real one. That's right. Right now, on this island, now that the witch has sent her letter, having sacrifices offered for a magic circle is perfectly natural. So what will happen next? Will some weird people wearing goat masks start doing the Bond Festival dance or something? It's hopeless. It's hopeless. I don't get it. The inside of my head's all screwed up, and I don't even know what to think. Anger, sadness, the opposing emotions all swirled up together, and they started to suck me in. Unable to resist, I could do nothing but cover my eyes with my hands, and trust to my mind and body as I started getting sucked in. Well, it definitely looks like the evil magic circle thing's coming back up again. And everyone's actually starting to give her, like, some thought now that bad things have happened. Hold on one moment. As I started losing heart, I began to recall a memory from when I was small. It was from when I was very small. I had unfortunately seen a scary occult movie on TV, and for a while, I hadn't even been able to go to the bathroom by myself. That old man had given an exaggerated laugh and said this.
なあバトラ、どうして悪魔だのオカルトだのってのをわざわざこうして映画にすると思う？ねえからだよ。そんな滑稽なもんは地球のどこにもねえのさ。ねえからわざわざ見たくて作るんだよ。だから俺はオカルト映画なんてちゃんちゃらおかしくて笑っちまうってんだ。俺に言わせりゃ悪魔やら妖怪やらより今年度の収支報告や機嫌を悪くした女房の方が1億倍も怖えってもんだぜ。さらに言うぜ。俺に言わせりゃな、怖がるってのは心と生活にゆとりのある連中の娯楽的感情なのさ。暇でしょうがないから。連中は変わった感情で心を遊ばせたくて悪魔だのオカルトだのって文化を作り出したんだよ。
Seriously, why have I been acting so thick-headed? I was totally taken in. Don't try to mess with me. This is the human world. I don't even care about... It's kind of sounding like the Metal Mario music from Super Mario 64. Sorry. I don't even care about witches, demon, magic circles, and sacrifices. The human who killed Dad and everyone else is still here on this island. That's all there is. Right? The next thing that started speaking to my heart was Kirie-san.
チェスや将棋ってね、終盤の終盤、詰めの最後の段階に入れば入るほど最善手は限られてくるのよ。だから自分が追い詰めている、あるいは追い詰められているというその時、両者の手は限りなく読みやすくなるのよ。つまり完全に追い詰められて打つ手なしって思ったその時こそ最も読みやすい瞬間なのよ。でも守勢に立った人間はどうしても考えが固くなって相手の手を読むことにまで考えが至らない。そういう時はね、チェス盤をひっくり返すの。
With all my strength, I slapped my face with both hands. Oh. Now, my eyes were truly open. When you don't understand anything, and you are completely cornered just like I was then, isn't that the perfect time to turn the chessboard over? With us put on the defensive, we couldn't even guess at the culprit's scheme. If you turned it over, and looked at it that way, just how far could you see? First off, At the time of the murders were committed by the culprit, they knew that the island was cut off by the typhoon. Therefore, they should have understood that even if they carried out the murders, they wouldn't be able to get away until the next morning. In short, the culprit had begun without securing a way to escape. Furthermore, that old man had tossed the corpses in the storehouse, almost like they were politely telling us they are here with that weird scribble. In other words, since we'd probably find the corpses sooner or later, they wanted to show us them. If we had all been dim and hadn't noticed the storage shed, the culprit's goal would not have been achieved, would it? If you think about it this way, that culprit, since this morning, he must have been watching our every move with bated breath. After all, if we hadn't been so kind as to discover what was in the storehouse, all of that hard work and preparation that they had done last night would just have gone poof. What did the culprit want to make us feel by showing us the corpses in the storehouse? All 6 of the bodies had their faces noticeably destroyed. Noticeably. A grudge? A warning? The defacement of the bodies had occurred after death, so it hadn't been the means by which the culprit had murdered. It didn't mean anything to those who had been killed. It did have something to do with those that found the body, because it doesn't really, I feel like it doesn't do anything for the person who's murdering, and obviously the people who are dead don't get any feeling out of that. It only means stuff to the people who see the dead bodies. The culprit wanted to make it appear that they had been killed so brutally. Ha! After thinking this way, I really want to tell that guy to stop taking me so lightly. Who would just dance to that tune? If you're told, please be scared, you can't just say, really? Sure thing. When someone tells the great Ushiramiya battler the entrance is right here, I'm the kind of guy who will start wanting to sneak in through the window. The next thing that had me concerned was the shape of the magical circle on the shutter. As Maria, who had shown that her knowledge of the occult rivaled grandfather's, had recognized that magic circle was genuine. They must have drawn that thing in pitch black darkness, taking a lot of time and holding an umbrella in one hand. Isn't that amount of hard work and perfectionism impressive? What purpose would have been worth all that effort? If we were looking for a fan of the occult in this mansion, most likely, all of us would naturally doubt Grandfather. Did they want to make us think Grandfather was involved? But if that's all they wanted, they could have just drawn any old scribble that looked like a magic circle. It wasn't like any of us amateurs would be able to tell the difference between a genuine and a fake. However, this magic circle was genuine, and furthermore, it had even been written in Hebrew. So this magic circle had a message that could only be understood by someone with knowledge of the occult. This message was a form of communication. By sending it, they were hoping for a reaction. Reaction? For some reason, we couldn't find Grandfather now. I couldn't know how Grandfather might have seen the magic circle on the shutter, but he had chosen to hide himself in reaction to that sign? No. Was it a trap to make us suspect that Grandfather had participated? You could read it either way. That's annoying. What kind of reaction was the culprit hoping to get out of us by showing this imitation of the occult? Somehow, that felt like the culprit's weak point. The letter from Beatrice that Maria had read aloud during last night's dinner sprang back into my mind. This person was satisfied with playing a battle of wits. Isn't that interesting? This is a battle of wits between us and the witch. Will we be sucked up by her occult game first? Or will we pull off her fake skin first? There's a whole day until the typhoon passes. Why not enjoy ourselves? No, battler, let's not enjoy ourselves in the murder game. Creepy weirdo. And that's where we're going to stop for today. That was interesting. That was fun. I wonder what everyone else has been doing in reaction to Maria's little bit odd face. Creepy. Yeah. Honestly, I find that creepier than most things are creepy children. That's creepy. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that so far. And next time we'll keep going with our, I guess, hoping to find what's happened to everybody. As was said before, definitely a feeling of chickens running around with their head cut off. We're not exactly... Well, I feel like Battler might be doing something useful. I feel like everybody else is kind of just screwing around, not getting a whole lot useful done. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time for more Umineko. Bye!